Good morning, Zio here, and today I will be joined with D-Pad Chad. Wow, I'm horrible at this right now. Anyway, there's some things going on, Section 230, that sort of stuff with YouTube and all this other stuff. So we're going to explore it, talk about it, and we're going to do this without the cams or anything. We're just going to talk about it and whatnot. So grab yourself some coffee, sit back, relax, and let's get into it, shall we? Yeah, I know I'm muted. Anyway, hello, and here we are. We're recording live right now from a studio audience of nothingness. But yeah, with me is Chad, D-Pad Chad. You can find him over on Rumble and pretty much just Rumble, so go take a look for him over there.
Morning.
But yeah, I turned off all the cams and stuff so we can just sit back, relax, sip on our coffees, eat whatever, that sort of thing, and talk Section 230, because the Supreme Court over on here in the US apparently is taking up a case on Section 230, and YouTube is trembling from it.
By the way, I'm going to be honest, I don't wholly agree with that sentiment, but we'll get into that in a minute.
Oh, which sentiment? That YouTube is trembling?
That it's because of 230, but we'll
get
into it.
I don't know. What I know is this is what I know so far. On the screen, you're going to see SCOTUS takes up case examining Section 230 protections on YouTube. For me, Section 230 needs reform. Major reform, because sites like YouTube and Twitter and stuff like that have used it as a get out of free jail card for far too long. However, the premise of the case, I think, should fail because it is ridiculous.
Okay, real quick, you're not drinking decaf, right?
No, I'm not. I'm not drinking decaf. I don't drink decaf.
Okay, because I heard get out of free jail.
Get out of free jail. That's right. They've been using this to get out of free jail card. What does that have to do with
Get out of jail free? You mean?
Get out of free jail. Oh. You're right.
Wow.
Get out of jail free.
You did pick up on that for a minute. Anyway.
No, I did not. Wow. So I've recorded, multiple things this morning. I've had coffee, and I don't know. I took a break, and now I'm here. But
So here's the thing with the whole 230 thing. Yes, I 100% agree. It needs reform badly for the same reason, like you said.
Quick, before we get into that, let's continue to finish setting the stage real quick. Okay. So I said YouTube is trembling, and the reason I said that is because I've heard reports and people have talked about it. I haven't listened to all their words or what all they've said. But, they have talked about it apparently. For YouTube personally has contacted them because they're one of the larger creators on the site, and they've also contacted some of the not so larger creators on the site, asking them to essentially, help us and make it known that we're going to quite possibly lose Section 230 and how bad it is for you and YouTube and everything else. Where they've been essentially doing that sort of thing, which is why I say they're running scared. But on the other hand, I feel that as much as it needs reform, this case isn't going to be the one to do it.
No.
Okay, now let's get into it.
Okay, so real quick, let's just get this out of the way. The case of Renato Gonzalez, I'm just going to call him Gonzalez, v. Google, is what set this all off. And he's basically butthurt because he got recommendations about, I guess he was upset about videos that recruit people into terrorist organizations and incite mass violence. According to him, that's what he's saying. However, I'm under the impression that your recommendations are based on what you're watching and what your interests are via Google Analytics and stuff. So my thought is, bro, are you just watching the top 10 compilations of beheading videos or something?
All right. Real quick, I'm going to read this quote from the lawsuit. Okay. Google selected the users to whom it would recommend its special videos based on what Google knew about each of its millions of YouTube viewers, targeting users who characteristics indicated that they would be interested in that particular group's videos. Now, even if that's the case, like you were saying, it under my understanding, it's based off your recommendations or what you've been watching, right?
Yeah.
And I have actually personally tested this one myself with my kids by making them profiles, monitoring what they're watching, and what they get recommended is more the same stuff.
Yeah, same with us. Like, we see lots of video game stuff because we're gamers. That's what we do.
Yeah, my kids, they watch a lot of Fortnite and Minecraft and stuff, and they get recommended those creators who focuses on Fortnite and stuff like that. My younger one apparently likes to watch these shorts where they take off makeup for some reason, and that's fine. It's whatever.
It's probably cathartic.
But he's 6. It's whatever. Anyway, the point is, the algorithm noticed that he started watching these shorts and will recommend them now when he's watching, as well as the other stuff that he watches, like SS Sniper Wolf and things. Because the algorithm realizes, that's what he wants. As far as I'm aware, the algorithm recommends things that are closely resembling what you're thinking. So when you start watching other stuff, like I have been watching a lot of Pokemon things lately, or listening to them more than likely, my YouTube has started recommending more Pokemon-related topics. I hadn't done that in a long time, and then it got away from the politics I was listening to because I haven't listened to politics in like 2 or 3 weeks. When it used to just be full of political stuff.
So, for me, it's twofold. One, this guy Gonzalez, honestly, if I was the Supreme Court, I'd be like, if I was Google and YouTube, I would just come clean and be like, we recommend it based off of what you watch. So I would I'd just pull a Sammy Hagar and be like, we're only recommending what you are watching. So, Mr. Gonzalez, why are you watching this stuff?
Oh, yeah.
I would pull the Uno reverse. Sammy Hagar, rock and roll, evil. Yeah. For those that know that old court case.
I think Google's best defense on this is to pull up his analytics specifically.
Yes.
And see what he was searching for, what he was looking for, to see if it was actually recommending it. And then, of course, there's always those fringe cases where things fall through the cracks, right?
Yeah. And here's the thing. Now, on the flip side of that, Google is, with the quickness, willing to ban certain benign content. But the fact that this other content they seem to not be able to squelch out does raise some questions as well, though.
Well, I mean,
just on a different aspect.
Yeah, I mean that kind of goes to part and parcel with the Twitter files, right?
Yeah,
we got the Twitter. We got Elon Musk taking over Twitter. Elon decides to wage a crusading war against anything that would be considered child PORN type of stuff, right? And he decides he's gonna wage war against that. I'm all for that, of course. Most normal people are. I can't remember what he referred it to, like endangering children or something like that, exploiting children, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then right after he decides he's going to do that, places like Apple are like, oh, wait a second, Twitter may be violating our terms of service now. We're going to have to reevaluate our thing, which, is one of those telling things. It's like, wait a second, what?
Yeah, and they did it in time where everybody was like, hey, wait a minute, like that meme.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like we didn't see something like that coming. We knew it was going to happen regardless, because Elon took over the platform. They were going to do that, and the fact that Twitter Twitter has actively violated the terms of Google and Apple's store rules, whatever they are, has been doing it for years with no problem whatsoever, because there's favoritism in there. The point is, he started doing that, and he was succeeding in it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this idea that it can't be done because it's too big of a platform or whatnot is nonsense.
Yeah, absolutely.
It absolutely has been able to be done, and it's being actively done on Twitter. In fact, getting rid of bots and everything else has been actively going on as well.
But let's we should actually explain how this connects to gaming.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're talking Section 230 gaming stuff. Anyway, point is, Section 230, if they lose Section 230 things, that actually could mean disasters for YouTube as a whole, because YouTube actively survives purely based on the creator. Even though it feels like they're waging war against the creator 24/7, they only survive because of the creators as well pumping out content. The problem is now, because of Section 230, this idea of being advertiser friendly and all this other BS, because somebody can't take a few moments to do some actual hard work over on the Google side of things, because I guarantee they probably have a similar setup to Twitter, where they've got so much fluff that nothing's really getting done, when they could get rid of useless people who aren't doing anything or really contributing. Anyway, as a result of combination of all this stuff, gaming content is getting struck too. Like, anything that would be considered anything that falls under the violence tag, I guess you can say, even though it's a video game.
It's worse than that, my dude. So apparently, this is something I found out recently. This was a couple days ago. If you curse within the first several minutes at all, any cursing, instant demonetization, it's it's kind of like they said it, but they half enforced it. Now it's no.
Yeah.
But so here's my thing. Here's my take. As crazy as 230 is, and that situation is, I don't think that's the reason YouTube's doing all this. Go on. So it's pretty safe to say that the economy is kind of crap right now, right?
Yes.
Now, Zio, when in your company, who are the first people to get laid off? The contractors, right? Well, temps / contractors.
Oh yeah, definitely temps. Sorry. I had to think for a second, because I haven't really worked with a company that has anybody really lay off anymore. They don't hire temps.
Okay, so I do, and contractors are always the first to go. Now, even YouTube has stated that they view their content creators as contract workers, which is why they don't have to pay them insurance, salaries, hourly, etc., etc. Okay.
Yeah.
However, times have gotten rough, and even for these bigger companies, times are getting rough. So they can't just lay these people off because it's the way the whole system's set up. But what they can do is do what I call a soft layoff, which is where they'll demonetize them. And then essentially they're working for free. You go to these videos that are demonetized, they still run ads, but 100% of that ad revenue is going to YouTube.
Oh.
And
I mean, I agree with that. However, it's not been like a recent thing.
I know, but I think that the ramping up is because of that.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't think that it's because of the current economy, because they've been doing this for years. Where they'll demonetize your video, never tell you why it's demonetized or not available or whatnot when you should be able to monetize it, while also running 3 ads in front of it.
Yeah.
And one in the middle and one at the end or something, and then you seeing absolutely zero of the revenue from it. I mean, they're not afraid to do that to just about anyone. Hell, my own videos occasionally get ads, and I'm not even eligible for ad revenue. And, you know, I'm just like, how is that even allowed at this point? I don't even get the option to do that, but it's in the terms of service where they can do that sort of thing.
Yeah, and so here's the thing. I think that the 230 came at a great time where they could use it as a smokescreen to do essentially layoffs without anybody questioning it or blaming them for what's going on in their poor business.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Not to mention they haven't like what is it? I don't think YouTube's really been profitable ever, or something like that.
Venture capitalism
eating the thing, but yeah.
Hang on. That's another thing. There was a recent not study, but a report that came out where bankers and top business analysts were saying that in 2023, venture capitalists or zombie companies were going to go under, and they said like 10 to 25% of U.S. companies were zombie companies, and I legit think YouTube is among them, which is why they're trying to trim the fat, which is why a lot of these companies are doing layoffs now. Not just YouTube, but other companies too. But I think YouTube is doing layoffs of the content creators, kind of, sort of, basically making it so that only the people that make the most of the most money will be able to slide through. Even the mid tier will see the axe.
Which is why you should go support people on Rumble and other alternative sites.
Yep, this was all an ad.
So, go check out Rumble.
Yes.
But anyway.
But yeah, back to 230 though.
Yes.
Additional image.
He lost in thought. Do what now?
Oh, this Gonzalez guy. So no, I just seen a little snippet from the article.
Mm-hmm.
This Gonzalez guy is blaming is attacks for I think he's trying to connect attacks back to Google.
Well, yeah,
and YouTube's recommendations. I'm like, that is a leap.
No, that's exactly what it is. That's why I say the case itself should be crushed, because this is a horrible case to make. from my understanding of everything, essentially he is arguing because it's available on YouTube, it is driving people towards, or making them radicalizing people, right, towards a particular thing, which is enabling, these attacks and stuff like that. But no, I think that should still be covered under Section 230 because, well, okay, within reason, right? Section 230 pretty much states that they're not held liable for anything, but they can moderate within reason. And I think most normal people would be like the 10 beheadings or best 10 beheadings would be a thing to scratch off and not keep around. That would be something to remove. Something that needs, to be removed. This isn't, but, anyway, we can all agree that that would really classify as something that would be obscene or whatnot that needs to be removed. However, somebody playing Dead by Daylight and Myers stabbing the guy real quick, a video game, not so much. On top of all of that, YouTube has a separate forum called YouTube Kids, right?
Yeah.
I don't understand why they can't just argue to say, like, advertisers or whatnot. It's like, do you want to run just purely on kid-friendly content? Because that's essentially what they're saying when they say family-friendly, right? It's kid-friendly content.
And that...
If an advertiser wants to only be associated to that side of YouTube, they should have that option too. But they're not going to, because they want to sell their product.
Yeah, and that excuse is getting really freaking old. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, my video is not advertiser friendly for the dating app that's used for hookups.
Which is funny because, YouTube also puts ads on their site that are not exactly what you would call kid friendly. And, depending on the site that you're running, would definitely fall under Section 230 to remove. Like if you have, say, a Christian, whatever, something, another site or blog or whatnot, and somebody comes through and starts posting porn, from the hub or whatnot, yeah, I can understand Section 230 kicking in and going, yeah, you're allowed to remove that because, this is a religious forum, not a hub forum. For that particular thing. There are sites out there for that who use them, Yeah. But YouTube loves to shout, family friendly, gotta be family friendly. You can't say fuck too soon in a video or we're gonna immediately, you're not family friendly. And it's like, have you not watched TV lately? I mean, I know none of us really have a cable box anymore, but my parents do. And some of the things that are on cable television, I can also look up on a lot of these streaming services. And a lot of them are what I would call not family friendly.
I have a question. Why is video game content being, getting hit with the ban hammer so hard? But yet I just typed in WAP and Cardi B's shitty song is still up.
Yeah, like I said, or like I was getting to at some point or whatnot. But yeah, YouTube is using Section 230 as a cudgel to take out anything it doesn't like for whatever reason, or its employees don't really like. And a lot of that also has to be people who lean a particular political way, right? So if you subscribe to the political machine and, all that stuff, to a particular side, you're going to be able to sit there, like, for instance, a song like WAP.
Yeah.
Sure, it can exist, but I don't exactly want my kids running across the video for it, Or most music videos, for that matter, these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, it's advertiser friendly, apparently. But at the same time, if I was to go and make a video in a similar fashion or whatnot, I guarantee it wouldn't be advertiser friendly.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why, and the reason I brought that up is because you remember how you said that a lot of these YouTube went to a lot of these content creators.
Yeah, to argue on their behalf.
Yeah, well, a lot of them gave them the middle finger and said, "I'm sorry, I'm demonetized. F you."
Well, I wonder about that. See, I hadn't actually gone out and looked for it, right? And I know they have because, you know, I've read about it that so and so, you know, mentioned that they were talked to and this, that, and the other, and a lot of them are more the left-leaning side of things.
Yeah.
And to be totally honest, I really should have gone and looked at their videos to see if they backed YouTube or they didn't back YouTube. Because I know those who are more on the right-leaning side of things or more towards the center of the spectrum of politics, those are the people who are demonetized, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones who told, you know, YouTube to F off. Even, you know, they reached out to them with a, please, can you help us, kind sir? And they're like, no, we're demon. We're not doing jack for you. But, you know, I would say, like, somebody like, say, Philly D, I feel like would back them.
Yeah.
And go on about how this is some kind of big to-do that he's going to suddenly not have a show anymore, even though at this point, like 3 or 4 years ago, I can't remember how long it's been, he's talked about doing his own site, and I don't know if he's ever done it or not, but...
I think it fell through or something, it cost too much, I don't know.
Look, yeah, I think he's quite the grifter, to be totally honest, but you know, that's another thing. And I used to watch a lot of him. I used to watch him daily. Anyway. But he was like on the forefront of the Better Help scandal too, so anyway. I feel like people like that in that camp probably did, but I don't know. I honestly can't say for sure if they did or didn't, because I didn't go look up their videos. I just read that they had mentioned it, pretty much.
Yeah.
Or talked about it at some point.
The same for me. I heard that a lot of people told YouTube to piss off, and I heard a lot of people were like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, my grift might be up.
But I mean, when it comes down to it, I would say YouTube has nothing to worry about. All YouTube has to do is say, hey, look, this is how our algorithm works. It recommends you things based on what you've watched. So if you've gone through and watched a bunch of T stuff, it's going to start recommending that stuff to you. And on top of that, a lot of the stuff that would be considered in that category are probably age-restricted things anyway, and age-restricted things don't really get recommended. You have to physically go looking for them these days. So I don't know if he's referring to back in 2016 this was the case, because 2016 YouTube is not the same as 2022 YouTube, or 2023 now. You know?
2018 even. Yeah. And as far as gaming goes, that's why and this is a bit more, again, a lot of what I've said has been subjective, and this is also subjective. I've seen a lot of content creators that are in the gaming sphere. They pretty much said YouTube, even if things go their way on this, as soon as things went bad, YouTube immediately started coming down on gamers. And a lot of these content creators were like, you know what? Odyssey, Rumble, how you doing over there? A lot of people moved. They are moving.
Yeah, there's that too. But a lot of people are still over on the YouTube side of things. But yeah, I mean, the gaming stuff, I mean, it used to have its own home called YouTube Gaming, and they got rid of that for some reason. I don't know why. But
according to them, they want it to be more, what was it? Not inclusive. It was, can't think of the word.
I don't know.
I hate. Basically, they wanted to appeal to the normies.
Well, they can appeal to the normies and still have a gaming section.
Yeah, I know. I didn't understand that.
I don't understand that at all. It's like, you've got YouTube Kids. Does anybody even use YouTube Kids for the most part? Like,
only if they're looking for creepy material, because
I don't
still
think
gets through.
I don't think anyone uses. I mean, I'm sure people do. I've never used it. I don't use it. I monitor what my kids actually watch. But yeah, it's just,
like a good parent.
You've got access to things like that. YouTube needs to not crack down on all this other stuff and go with this family-friendly persona, because it's YouTube. If they want a family-friendly persona, they have YouTube Kids. Stick it there. YouTube cannot be held liable because Chad gets on there and decides he's going to play DBD in Slaughters for Survivors. Myers just picks him up and stabs him a few good times, or one time, or whatever.
It's always fun to do.
But, for them to crack down on that sort of thing, it's like, you're demonetized because you're not family friendly enough. And it's like, okay, well, it wasn't supposed to be family friendly. There are checks and balances involved in all this stuff. You have to, if you want a kid thing to be a kid friendly or family friendly thing, there's a checkbox for you.
Yep.
If you don't click it, it's not supposed to be.
Yeah, what's the point of that if, they want everything to be? Doesn't make sense.
We're living in the age where the TV, like cable television, will say and show things on up to, except for maybe tits, muff, and the word fuck. Those are like the only off-limit things these days. It seems like on syndicated TV or whatnot, and their rules are the strictest of all strict. If you do a thing that can be put on to TV, you should be fine. I mean, heck, I found out the other day, I guess it was last week or something, TYT has a TV station. The Young Turks, of all people. I had no idea they had a TV station. I was flipping through the channels at my parents'. Oh gosh, they're still grifting. And yes, they are complete and utter grift. If you actually go and look up anything they say, most of the time it's a complete fabrication or lie, or a stretching of the truth, because they like to go in on these tangents and say things that were never actually said, and then argue against those straw men, because they are political hacks. Anyway, they have an actual TV station. If that show, if the content they're pumping out with the hate and the vitriol that they produce on the daily can pump out a TV show, or a TV channel, devoted to them, I think you're fine on YouTube, and they're not demonetized on YouTube. They get all sorts of help. They get funding from particular government agencies and such too, if you go follow their money trail.
By the way, I had an idea for a show for the Young Turks. Chank Uger on a bike, and every time he lies, he has to bike a mile. He'll be skinny in a week.
He'd probably be dead in 30 minutes, but he'd have a heart attack at that point.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah,
when it comes to Section 230, I don't think they have anything to worry about from this case. I really don't.
And that's the thing. I think they know that, and that's why I think this is a smokescreen so that they can cut the fat.
Well, I don't think that's it either, because they would do it anyway. I mean, come on, there's been like, what, 3 adpocalypses at this point on YouTube, and it gets worse every single time, and it's over the most benign thing.
True.
It's like, this person is some kind of alt-right neo-Nazi something another, and it had a Kia commercial on it. Oh my god! You know,
Kia,
kind of
do
deal.
you know about this?
It's like, Kia, do you know about this? Oh, Kia doesn't know because they pay for advertising space. On top of that, nobody cares, and it was a Tim Pool commercial or whatever, who was like the milquetoast centered whatever, you know? And it's like, they're so unnecessary. I think I've talked about this stuff more this week than I have on anything else now, about NPCs on the left and then the right and all this other crap. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I think that to conclude, gaming sphere, I think in my mind is going to keep moving bit by bit to other platforms. Maybe not all the same platform, but I think it's going to basically spread out to find greener pasture.
Yeah, I think they'll keep their mainstays. You know, anyone who's big right now doing stuff, they'll probably stay where they are. Anyone new is going to start branching out to things like Fruit Labs and Rumble, Odyssey, stuff like that. I mean, heck, people have been moving from thing to thing with Twitch as well, and Facebook got a bump in gaming content this past year as well.
Yeah.
And it's doing pretty well for people. Dead space. That's right, nobody's talking, so there's dead space. Chad, say a thing.
Well, I'm waiting for you to continue.
Well, I mean, a lot of these places, including Facebook, have seen an uptick in gaming content over this past year, and I think a lot of it does have to do with a lot of this arbitrary and unnecessary crackdown from YouTube. Especially when they want to cite things like family friendly and Section 230 and stuff like that. I do believe that there really should be some kind of Section 230 reform, because, you know, the way the law is written right now, anything that is obscene and whatever, they can remove, but then who determines what is actually obscene? It used to be society, collectively, would, you know, agree that, say, corn on a site that is not meant for that would be something considered obscene for that site and can be removed. And we've moved from things like that to, well, that's technically acceptable now, but if you say fuck in the first minute, you gotta go. It's like, what the hell are you smoking? That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and you're right. It's like the rules are just beyond arbitrary at this point, to the point where there's no... The funny thing is, YouTube, everybody clamors on about YouTube being transparent, but it kind of struck me with like Elon Musk taking over Twitter. And when he asked about information about the platform, and a lot of the people that work there, well, used to work there, didn't know how to answer him. They're like, we don't know any of that. Only a handful of people actually knew how to run the thing, and it wasn't the people at the top, bottom, and partially in the center. I guarantee you that's the same setup at YouTube, where the reason they can't be transparent is because they don't even know, they themselves don't know why your shit got dinged.
Yeah,
they just know it got dinged, and they're just like, oh, that's why. Go figure it out. Here's the policy.
They can't be bothered to look at it, because then it means they're going to have to waste 20 minutes of their day and they spend like 4 hours looking at a screen pretending to do something a week, and it's like, oh, I'll just fit in that.
But then they can't go to their nap rooms and stuff.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of bloat, too many cooks in the kitchen, and it just needs to be gutted. YouTube needs to be gutted. Facebook probably needs to be gutted. All these big socials need to be just gutted of useless fat. No more people making $70, $80 a year for 4 hours worth of work throughout the week. Actually, somebody who's going to do a job should go in there and actually do it.
Yep. All right. I think that pretty much concludes it.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked 40 minutes about Section 230, Twitter, and YouTube woes, I guess. I don't know. I mean, this kind of had a direction, and then it went everywhere. So,
yes, it did.
Down below should be a link to D-Pad Chad's, whatchamacallit, this thing here. The Rumble. He's got two things. He's got D-Pad Chad Gaming and then D-Pad Chad.
D-Pad Chad Gaming. Don't worry about the other one.
Okay,
that's just
the other one was an accident, and where all his subs went to because he streamed on it one time by accident. So now go help him out over here on D-Pad Chad Gaming, and that link should be down below somewhere for you to find. But yeah, he streams over there a lot, and sometimes I join him, sometimes I don't. But you know. Got anything else to say?
I like pot stickers.
He likes pot stickers. All right. Good night, everybody, and have a fantastic day.